So yeah, just started the recording. This is the weirdest start to a recording, but yes, y equals mx plus b is your slope intercept form. So that's number 2.
It's like y2 minus 1.
And good. This one is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You just subtract the y's and subtract the x's. And then y equals mx plus b is your slope intercept form. We'll just do this verbally. Why is it called slope intercept? Well, because m is
Where it cuts it off.
slope and b is y-intercept. Okay, so slope intercept form. All right, we're not going to actually do this problem. It's just saying, how would you get this into slope intercept form? Well, you get y by itself. So get y alone. You solve for y. You isolate y. That's what you're going to do.
Everything out of its life.
Yeah, get everything else away. Did you say get everything else away from its life? Like, move everything else away from y. What does a zero slope look like? I'm looking for a word like horizontal or vertical. Horizontal. So horizontal line, that's zero slope. Write a fraction that would give you a zero slope. It would be 0 over literally any number. Give me it as like a single digit number. We'll just put something in there.
4.
Okay. 0 over 2. That would just be 0. What does an undefined slope look like? Vertical line. Write a fraction that could be undefined. Now that would be anything over 0. So I wrote 2 over 0 because you guys said 2, but it could be 17 over 0. If you forget, type it in Desmos. If you type anything divided by 0, it literally says undefined for you. Like it will do the problem for you. So just make sure you type it in. All right, now I'm going to skip a couple of these because you don't have a homework assignment for next time except to prepare for the test. So I want you to have some that you can try for next time. I'm going to post the answers. So let's do 6 and 7, and then I'll leave 8 for you guys. Okay, so number 6, find the slope of this line. If you want to draw in your little triangle between those 2 points, you can do that. But basically, you're just counting the little boxes. How much down did it go? Just count them for me. I know they're little, but I can see them and I'm old, so you can see them too. Good. -6. Negative because it went down. And then how much to the right? I think it's 8. So -6 over 8, but you have to reduce that. It'll be negative what? They'll both divide by 2. 3 over 4. Good. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. So if you want to draw in the little triangle, you can. It's how much up and then how much to the right did it go? So let's see, how much up did it go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 6? Yeah. And then over how much? I'm getting 14. Did anybody else count 14?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're really small. So 6 over 14. And again, that's going to reduce by 2. So 3/7. Whoever's phone is dinging, can you just like silence that phone? Again, I'm going to leave number 8 for you guys. I'm going to skip a few every once in a while. So do that for next time. Check the answers on Schoology. I'm going to post all the answers. All right, now here you're going to use that formula that we wrote in question 1. I'm not going to slide my paper up and down, make you seasick. You have it written on your paper. How would you label these points? Right. It goes x, y, x, y. Where do I put the 1s and the 2s?
On the 2s first.
Well, the first one's going to get 1s. Second one's going to get 2s. And then you are literally just going to plug into your formula and you would type it in the calculator. We'll work it out together here, but you would just type it in the calculator, get the answer. So which number do we start with? 10. Good. Minus 1. And then in the denominator, 5 minus 2. Again, you would just type that in. We're going to talk our way through it here together. 10 minus 1 would be 9. 5 minus 2 would be 3. How's that going to reduce? 3 or 3 over 1, or you could just put 3, whichever is your preference. This one's kind of weird with all these 3s and 4s and negative signs here. Go ahead and label them x, y, x, y. The first point gets 1s, the second point gets 2s. So what number do we start with in our formula? Look back, you have it written in question 1. You start with y2, so which number is that? -4, good. Minus 4. And then on the bottom, it'll be 3 minus -3. Again, you would just type that into Desmos. It will literally tell you the answer. But let's talk our way through it. These actually don't cancel. -4 and -4. It's like you owe someone $4 and then you owe them another $4. Now it's -8. These negatives cancel, so we're adding, and that'll be correct 6. And then that reduces, thank you, -4/3. This is awesome. You're all with me and writing it down. I want you to all be successful. All right, find R. So like R is the missing thing. Don't get hung up on that it's called R. It's just there's something missing. If our slope is -3/4 and here's our 2 points. Well, here's a grid for you to use. Plot the first point, 0, 2. That would be right here. So there's our point 0, 2. And then what does the slope -3/4 tell you to do? Using words like up, down, left, right, what are your instructions?
Oh, sorry.
Down 3, good, right 4. So from this 0, 2 point, you're going to go down 3, right 4. That's your line. Oh, you're correct. Let me get everybody else there, though. It said find R. Well, look, here's where the point for R is. It's 4, comma R. Well, here's that point. It's 4, comma -1. So R is -1. That's what you're looking for. Cool. I'm going to go quick and easy if you all like listen to me and write it down. Pay attention so often. So again, I'm going to just do, I think I'm just going to do like this column here. I want to leave some for you to try for next time, right? You don't have homework, but except to prepare for the test. So number 12, draw a slope that is undefined. Name any 2 ordered pairs. I didn't tell you where you had to write it, so you can write it anywhere you want. Let's put it at 3, just for the sake of drawing this somewhere. This is an undefined line. It's vertical. And then we're going to name any 2 points that are on it. So there's a whole mess of correct answers for this. But could anyone give me a point that's on that line that we drew?
3, 4.
3, 4. What else?
392.
392. 3 anything, right? 3, 0, 3, -5. Like those are all correct answers. Right? Number 14. We want this slope and to go through the point -5, 5. So we're going to have to plot that first. What quadrant would -5, 5 land us in? Close?
4.
2, right here.
Oh,
So you're going to go -5 for X and then +5 for Y. So right there. You had one like just like this on your quiz. And then using words like up, down, left, right, what is the slope instructions telling you to do? Down 4, right 3. So from that starting point, go down 4, right 3. And then just please keep going down 4, right 3. Just like fill the whole grid. Again, if you can count to 4, you can do it. Pep talk, go team. Are we cool with that? Plot a point and then count the little boxes. All right, so 16. Graph a line with a slope of 0 that contains the point -2, 5. So first plot -2, 5. That's going to also be in the second quadrant. Go -2 for X, +5 for Y. So right there. And then how would you put a 0 slope through that? Horizontal line. Perfect. I was gonna just do this column, but you know what? Let's do the word problem because I know word problems always frighten everybody. Dylan releases a helium balloon. So it's gonna, go up into the air. So it starts out 10 feet off the ground, like while he's holding it. So at 0 seconds, it's at 10 feet. So we get the point 0, 10. At 0 seconds, it's like initial position.
That makes sense.
A lot of you will probably take physics at some point. That's called initial position. Have you ever heard of like initial velocity? Initial position. Oh, you've done that before?
Yeah.
Oh. Wait, you haven't had physics though, have you?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, 10 seconds later, so this is a point 10 comma something. Where's the balloon? 60 feet. And you're going to do your slope formula. Label the points X, Y. The first one gets ones, the second one gets twos, and you're just gonna do your slope formula. You're so fast. Can I get everybody? Put units with your answer though. And don't make them up. They're in the problem. So this will be 60 minus 10. Y2 minus Y1. Then what's going to go on the bottom? Yep, 10 minus 0. So that will be 50 over 10, which would just be 5. Now for word problems, you have to put units. Remember, slope involves that word per. Do you remember us talking about per? Do you remember when we stacked up the cups? So that's something for inches per cup or whatever. So something per something else. So what are the units for this one? Yep, feet per second. All right, 18. G of X is graphed right here on that same grid. Graph a line that's G of X minus 3, label it M, and then we have to do some other stuff, but let's stop there. The minus 3 is going to move it what direction? And remember, it makes sense. Don't stare off into space. We'll need to do a couple more, and then I'll give you a break. What does the minus 3 do?
Oh, and it's minus.
Oh, and it does end up being the y-intercept. It's going to move it down 3. Do you remember this plus is up, minus is down? Stick with me here. Plus is up, minus is down. And I would look at the y-axis. I think that's an easy place to start. You're just going to take that point and move it down 3. Oh, and actually, we have these bolded points as well. You can use those too. Just take those and move them down 3. Like you're just moving the whole line down 3. And what did it say to label that one? M?
Yeah.
M? Okay. So just write M next to it somewhere. So minus just moved it down. Now I kind of stopped reading the directions because that was a little overwhelming, but it does say to do something else. Then also graph the line that's G of X plus 1. Okay, if the minus 3 moved it down 3, what's the plus 1 do? Yeah, up 1. So take all those points, scoot them up 1, and then we're going to label that N. And again, what are lines like this called? Like when they run next to each other?
Parallel.
That's parallel. Do you remember what it is when they meet like this?
Yes, I know. Origin.
Oh, perpendicular is the other one. Because we're going to do parallel and perpendicular next unit. So foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So those are all parallel. They're never going to like bump into each other. They're never going to intersect. Let's just do a couple more on the next page because then we'll be like halfway and then I'll give you a break. All right, write this equation in slope-intercept form. That's your y equals mx plus b. So first thing we need to find is the slope. So let's try and bold some points that are like exactly on nice, neat numbers there. Oh, wow, you're so quick. You like see it instantly. Let me get everybody else there. If you want to draw in the little triangle, you can. We're going up 3, right 2. So your slope is 3 over 2. So when you write that in your equation, it'll be y equals 3 over 2x, that's your slope, plus, and then think of like the little marble game that we just did, like how much up or down it moved. So your y-intercept is 3. I don't really have a better explanation than, hey guys, look, it's right there. It's just where it touches the y-axis, so plus 3. So you find the slope, you find the y-intercept, just write the equation. Now these are the follow-up questions. If we move that 1 unit up, What would the new equation be? You just have to add 1. To move it up 1, you would add 1. So instead of a +3, it'll be a +4. Everything else is going to stay the same. You just add 1 to it. And then if the line was moved 2 units down, what would you do? You'd -2. And so everything else is going to stay the same. You're just going to take that 3 minus 2. And so what are we going to have at the end there? Yeah, +1. Good. So again, plus means up, minus means down. I'm going to leave number 20 for you because it's the same as what we just did. It's just more practice. So go down to number 21. Actually, these are all kind of the same. That's fine. We'll do 21 and then we'll do a break. So write the equation of the line. So you've got to find points that are on like nice whole numbers, which can be hard sometimes. Just look through there. I've bolded a couple of them for you. And if you want to draw in the little triangle, you can. And so what's our vertical change? That you want to do the vertical and then the horizontal. So like how much down are we going, I guess is what I'm asking. So -3. And then over, is that 4? I think it's 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll be y equals -3/4 x. That's your slope.
Minus.
And then -2. Good. Do you guys see this point right here? I'm sorry, I don't have a better explanation than, hey, look, it's that point. Do you see how it's down 2? -2. So that's that equation. Now we're going to transform it. So what would it be if you moved it down 3? Well, how would you do a down 3? Yep, just subtract 3. Now it's already a -2. So if you -3 from that, it'll be -5. Again, think of money. Like you owe someone $2, then you owe them $3 more. And then to do an up 5, you would add 5. So if it's starting at -2, but you plus 5, what is that going to be? Good, +3. And you can always look here as well. Like see how it's at -2? If you just count up 5 from there, look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that you land at 3. Like if you start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like you'll see that it's 3. This one's the same as what we just had on the other paper. +5 is going to do what to it? Yeah, up 5. Like you would just take these points and move them all up 5. You would get a parallel line. Okay, so it's same as the one on the other page. All right, so looking at 23, we're going to graph the line and then state the x and y intercepts, okay? So to graph the line, we're going to plot these points and connect them. So what quadrant would 6, 3 be in? 1. So go 6 for x and then 3 for y. So right there. Yeah, and sorry, I don't have a better explanation than, hey, look, it's right there. 6, 3. What quadrant would -9, -2 go in? 3. That's going to be down here. So I think the grid is 10 by 10, isn't it?
No,
Yeah, it is. So -9 would be like almost to the end. And then -2. Now we want to know the intercepts. So I would like some more specific points in here, because if you just connect it, you know, it's not going to be perfect. You won't be able to see exactly where it lands. So like how much up and over are we going? This is up, what, up 5? 12, 13, 14, 15. So we went up 5 and right 15. What's that going to reduce to? 1/3. And I just counted the little boxes. I started at this point and I was like, oh, we went up 5, right 15. That reduces to 1/3. So put some of the points in between, go up 1, right 3, just so that you can see it better. Because again, if you just like draw the line through, like all crazy, you're not gonna see exactly where it hits the axes. So you have to make it a little bit more particular than that. And then when you state the answers, it's just where does it touch the x-axis? Where does it touch the y-axis? This one's x, this one's y. So for x, do you see that right there? -3. Now you have to write it as an ordered pair, -3, comma 0. It has to be x, comma y.
You have to have a little circle things. What are they called?
Parentheses?
Yeah.
You are supposed to have parentheses. I won't mark it wrong if you don't have the parentheses, but I will mark it sort of wrong if you don't have the 0. All right, and then y-intercept, it's at 1, but you have to write 0, 1. It's an ordered pair, something, comma, something else. I'm going to leave 24 for you. It's a very similar problem. You would graph the line and then just go, oh, look, that's where the intercepts are. So you would plot this point. It would be like down here-ish. And then, hey guys, this question's for everybody. What is the slope telling you to do?
Go up to right.
Right 3. So you would start at that point, go up 2, right 3, up 2, right 3, up 2, right 3. And so you had your line, and then you could look at where it touches the x and y axis. I'm going to finish filling this in and take a picture and post it. I just don't want to do every single problem. Like, I want there to be some for you guys to try for next time. Because in case you didn't know, because I get this all the time, I don't know how to study for math. You study for math by doing problems. That's practice. That's how you study, right? So let's look at 25. To get your x-intercept, you're going to cover up y. I just covered it up. To get your x-intercept, cover up y. So that leaves you with 2x equals -10. And what would you do to solve that? Good. And so you get x equals -5. So -5, 0. To get your y-intercept, you're going to cover up x. So do you see I just covered up x? Oh, good. If you can do that in your head, that's totally fine. You don't have to show these steps. I'm just writing it out in case anyone needs to see it. It'll be 0, -2. Good job, guys. 0 is the same answer as which one? X. X-intercept and 0 means the same thing. And if you even just want to write -5, that's okay. And then the slope, honestly, I would graph it first and then just count the little boxes. I think that's the easiest way to do it, is to just count them. So go ahead and plot those. You have -5, 0. So that would be right there. And then 0, -2 would be right there. And so when you connect that, what is your slope? Good. -2 over 5. We went down to right 5. And you can draw in the little triangle if that helps you.
Wait, so I should just like look at it.
Yes, you can kind of just tell from that. But if you have to graph the line anyway, just graph it and then count the little boxes. All right, I'm going to leave 26 for you guys because it's a very, very similar problem. It's like the same thing, just with different numbers in it. Let's do 27. Because what do you notice is missing about number 27?
The y.
There is no y, so there's not going to be a y-intercept because there isn't a y at all. Poor y. To get your x-intercept, you would just solve this. Just solve an equation. What would you do to both sides to start solving that? Yeah. +1. Yes, you're right. So +1. That'll give you 2x equals 6. Divide by 2, you get 3. But you have to write it 3, 0. If you don't put the parentheses, that's fine. But I would like a 3, 0. And so this is also 3. It's the same answer. And so if you graph that, plot your point 3, 0. That's the only one we have. It is right there. How do you have to draw it in if you cannot touch the y-axis? There will not be, you cannot touch this line. It's going to have to be vertical. You can't go through the y-axis, so it's going to be vertical here. And then, yes, the slope is undefined. Very good. You gonna make it? We're all good. All right. Again, I'm not going to do every single one of these. I'm just going to like pick and choose a few of them. That one's really straightforward. Let's do 28. You have to get y by itself. Get y alone. You have to make it y equals mx plus b. So we will subtract the 3x. You want to get y alone.
Oh,
Get y by itself. So subtract over the 3x. That'll give you negative 2y equals. How should we write it? Because you don't want to do 10 minus 3x. Yeah, you want to do negative 3x plus 10 because you want it to be y equals mx plus b. So just rearrange it. You're just moving. Algebra is just moving things. I'm going to move this over here and move that over there. That's all it is. We're going to divide by negative 2 to everybody. So that will be y equals. Now 3/2 doesn't reduce, but what is going to happen is that the negatives are going to cancel. Good, I'm glad. So 3/2 x, and then what will this give us? Yeah, negative 5. Good. So that's your y equals mx plus b. And then you can state, like what the question's asking is, what is the slope and y-intercept? So what's the slope? 3/2. And what's the y-intercept? Negative 5. So you rearrange it, and then you can see that really easily. Let's do, again, I'm just picking and choosing a few of these. Let's do 31. Saying I don't want to do all of them for you. What's missing in 31? Like, what do you not see? You don't have an x at all.
And the y is a 1.
And if you were to subtract over this 1, like try to get y alone, you still want to try to get y alone, you would get y equals 1. I would think of this more from a visual perspective. If you were to graph y equals 1, you would just go, yeah, good, it would be what kind of line? Yeah, and you would just go through 1, like it would look like that. I would just think of it visually. I think, like, I'm a visual learner. I would think of it visually. So what is the slope of that? 0. And your y-intercept is 1. And then what do you want to do? 32 or 33? Let's pick one or the other. 32? You want to get y alone. How would you get y alone? Not subtract, you would divide by 5.
So that'd be 4.
Yeah, 4/5 doesn't reduce, so it's just 4/5x. So your slope is 4/5. What's your y-intercept?
4, 1, 0.
Why is it 0? Because this is really 4/5 x, like plus nothing, like there's nothing there. Question. So if you just have 4/5 x, 4/5 is your slope, right? But do you see how there's nothing written after it? So it's really like, if you want to put a plus 0, there's nothing there. So your y-intercept is 0. If it was 4/5 x plus 8, then it would be 8. It's just there's not a number there, so it's just 0. Does that make sense? Okay. Why don't you guys pick one of 34, 35, or 36? They're all the same kind of thing. Maybe 36?
Let's do 35. 35, let's do.
We'll do 35 and 36. Okay. What is the slope of this line? Close?
Undefined.
Undefined. Good. Is there a y-intercept?
None.
No, none.
So it is.
Now, your slope is undefined, so you can't really go to like y equals mx plus b. If you have a vertical line, it's just going to be x. Do you remember Hoy-Vux? Vertical lines, undefined slope, they're x equals. So it's just going to be x equals what number? Like x is what for every single thing there? 4. Yeah, x is 4 all the time. You have 4, 0 and 4, 1 and 4, 17 and 4, a million. They're all 4. It's just x equals 4. That's all that there is. If it was horizontal, it would be like y equals whatever. You coming with me on that?
Yes.
X equals y equals. All right, so here we need to like bold some of these points. And you can, okay, let me get everybody else. You're like super quick.
I've been ahead.
Okay, That's good, but just, it's my job to make sure everybody's together. So we went down to, you guys said it was 5, right? 5. So -2/5. And your y-intercept 0. And so your equation would be y equals -2/5 x plus 0. Or would you really have to write plus 0? No, but you can if that helps it like make sense to you. It's plus nothing. All right, and then let's see. Why don't we pick 2 from this side? I don't care which 2 we pick.
38.
Let's do 38, all right? So graph each line. You would have to get y by itself. And then we're going to state the slope and the y-intercept. So what would you do to get, now this one's, can we write that the other way around?
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and rewrite that 7y equals 2x. It means the same thing, but it helps to read it that way. So what would you do to get y by itself? Divide 7.
And that's 2/7.
Yeah, so it's just y equals 2/7x. And again, it's plus nothing. If you want to put a plus 0 there, there's the y-intercept's just going to be 0. So this is 0. Like it'll just be the origin. And then what's your slope?
2/7.
Yeah, 2/7. Perfect.
And that's 240.
Yeah, and then we'll do 4. But hold on, let me graph the line. So you're going to start at the origin, and it's going to go up to right 7 or down to left 7. Yeah, sorry, that's like the very last point on the grid. And then, yeah, we'll do 40. What do you notice about 40?
You have to, only one last.
What's it missing?
Minus the x.
There is no x, okay? So we are going to minus the 7. It'll be y equals
No.
-3. 4 minus 7 gives you -3. So y is -3 all the time. No matter what, you would get 0, -3, 1, -3, 10, -3, a million -3. So it's going to be horizontal at -3. Every single point on that line is something, comma, -3. And so what's the slope of that? 0? And then your y-intercept, perfect.
That was smart.